Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast, and welcome to your AEW Dynamite post-show. Starting off tonight, man, we got Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe having a face-to-face. Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe come out to the ring. Joe grabs a microphone. He quickly mocks the crowd. Joe then praises Hook. Joe then mocks Eddie Kingston. Joe says that Eddie Kingston will not win their match or win his match next week. Eddie says that Joe sold his soul. Eddie says that he misses the old Samoa Joe. The old Samoa Joe from Ring of Honor. Kingston also talks about, what Samoa Joe did for his career, and that he looked up to Samoa Joe. Then Kingston says before he leaves that he wants the Ring of Honor Samoa Joe, and if he doesn't get the Ring of Honor Samoa Joe, he's pretty much going to wipe the floor with Samoa Joe next week at Winter is Coming. Some interesting stuff there between Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe. Moving on from that, we have a Gold League Continental Classic Tournament matchup where it is Okada taking on Pac. I thought it was a good match, man. Back and forth matchup between Okada and Pac, with Okada and Pac both exchanging in the middle of the ring. Pac was trying to keep the pace of the match, but Okada hits an elbow drop off the top rope, landing on Pac. Okada then hits a tombstone in the middle of the ring on Pac, but Pac gets up, hits a brain buster off the top rope. Pac then tries to apply a brutalizer on Okada, but Okada counters it with a roll-up, pins for the 3. And your winner of the match and the winner of 3 points in the Gold League of the Continental Classic Tournament is Okada. Hats off to Okada for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have another Gold League Continental Classic Tournament matchup. It is Kyle Fletcher taking on Kevin Knight. I thought it was a good match, man. Probably the match of the night. Back and forth matchup between Fletcher and Knight, with Fletcher keeping the pace of the match. Fletcher and Kevin Knight both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Knight hitting a DDT off the apron on Kyle Fletcher. Knight then goes to the top rope while Fletcher is stuck in the trio woe. Knight then hits a coast-to-coast, taking out Fletcher. Fletcher then somehow gets up, hits a devastating Liger bomb on Kevin Knight for a near fall. Fletcher then gets up, hits a devastating brain buster on Kevin Knight, pins for the 3. And your winner of the match and winner of now 6 points in the Gold League of the Continental Classic Tournament is Kyle Fletcher. After the match, Don Callis and the Don Callis family are here. Don talks about the Young Bucks. Callis then mocks Omega. Callis says that he's got the Young Bucks money. He also mocks the Young Bucks as well. The Young Bucks come out to the ring. They attack the Don Callis family. Then Okada comes out of nowhere and hits a Rainmaker on Matt Jackson. Don Callis family then attack Nick Jackson. Jurassic Express are here as well. Jurassic Express attacks the Don Callis family. Other members of the Don Callis family are here. They attack the Young Bucks. Kenny Omega is here, and Omega then attacks the Don Callis family. Looks like Omega came out to save the Young Bucks. Moving on from that, we have a Women's Tag Team Tournament semifinal matchup. It is a Holiday Death Match. It is Marina Shafir teaming up with Megan Bayne to take on Mina Shirakawa and Toni Storm. The match itself, I thought it was an okay match at best. Back and forth matchup between both teams, with Mina and Toni keeping the pace of the match. Megan hits Toni with a chair shot, but Toni gets up, hits a Storm Zero off the apron through a table. Megan Bayne then hits a spear on Mina, sending Mina through a table that was pretty much standing up in the corner of the match, or of the ring. Toni Storm then hits another Storm Zero on Megan Bayne. Santa Claus comes out to the ring, but it's none other than Luther. Luther helps out Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa, which allowed Toni Storm to hit a roll-up, with Toni using also the shoe, if you will, on Marina Shafir. Pins for the 3. And your winners of the match, and moving on to the finals of the Women's Tag Team Tournament, is Mina Shirakawa and Toni Storm. Hats off to Mina Shirakawa and Toni Storm for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It's a 6-man tag team matchup. It is the Ops taking on the return, if you will, of the Dark Order. The match itself, I thought, was a decent match. Back and forth matchup between the Ops and the Dark Order, with the Ops keeping the pace of the match. Powerhouse Hobbs ultimately hits the finish, pins for the 3, and your winners of the match are the Ops. After the match, Paige quickly comes out to the ring and attacks Powerhouse Hobbs. Shibata then attacks Paige. AEW Security are here. They stop Adam Page. And then Paige ends up attacking the AEW Security. Some interesting stuff there from Adam Page. And moving on from that, we go into our main event of AEW Dynamite. It is a Blue League Continental Classic Tournament matchup where it is Jon Moxley taking on Claudio Castagnoli. I thought it was a good match, man. Back and forth matchup between Moxley and Claudio, with Moxley keeping the pace of the match. Moxley and Claudio then both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Claudio hitting a giant swing on Moxley in the middle of the ring. Claudio then capitalizes on the giant swing by applying a sharpshooter on Moxley, but the hold is quickly broken. Moxley then gets up, hits a foot stomp on Claudio for a near fall. Claudio then gets up, hits a powerbomb on Moxley for a near fall as well. Moxley then hits a paradigm shift on Claudio, but Claudio then suddenly gets up really quick. He runs towards Moxley, quickly hits a European uppercut, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match, and the winner of the 6 points now in the Blue League Continental Classic Tournament, is Claudio Castagnoli. Hats off to Claudio Castagnoli for getting the win in this matchup. A couple of things I want to talk about with you guys, man, about AEW Dynamite before I get the hell up out of here. Number one, I don't know, man. I'm trying to do my absolute best not to be one of those content creators that are continuously and constantly bashing AEW's product, whether it's Dynamite, whether it's Collision. But at the same time, too, bro, it's hard, man. It's hard not to literally criticize this company with a lot of shit they're doing as of late. I mean, and there's a lot of things even just really discussed that happened last night on Dynamite. Prime example, Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe. While I respect the hell out of Samoa Joe, and I damn sure respect Eddie Kingston has literally done nothing to grant himself an opportunity at the AEW World title. He's done nothing. He just came back from a lengthy injury, and then when he came back, he was teaming up with Hook. I don't understand how it seems as if Eddie Kingston and AEW are just surpassing the storyline between Eddie Kingston and Hook and just jump-starting Eddie Kingston right into an AEW title opportunity when he's done nothing to grant himself that title opportunity. So why are we not getting Eddie Kingston versus Hook? Because there's a story there in itself, but we're completely scrapping that for right now, and then we're going to have Eddie Kingston challenge Samoa Joe. To me, it just doesn't make any sense, to be honest with you. Eddie Kingston, while I respect the hell out of Eddie, he's done nothing up to this point right now to grant himself an opportunity at the AEW World title. And this goes back to what I've been saying about AEW, bro. It's injuries and creative that's ultimately causing this company's demise. That's just the way it is. They don't know how to build younger stars. Now, prime example, you literally had last night the future of this company in a match last night with Kyle Fletcher and Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight, when he came into AEW, I praised the hell out of Kevin Knight. I said Kevin Knight's one of those guys that could be the future of this business, could be the future of AEW if they decide to push him and point him towards the right direction. And then you have a matchup with Kyle Fletcher, which, again, Kyle Fletcher, I mean, sky's the limit for Kyle Fletcher, bro. He's got the talent. He's got the microphone skills. He's still very young in professional wrestling. He has a lot of time, bro, to develop, just like Kevin Knight. So you literally had the future of this company literally in a match last night. Why are we not building other stars, younger stars, to possibly be new number one contenders for the AEW World title? Instead, we're getting Eddie Kingston, who literally was out with injury for almost a year, if not longer, and we're putting him automatically in an AEW title match. And I'll tell you why that is because, bro, there is nobody else. They're not going to run it back with Adam Page and Samoa Joe yet, but it could possibly happen at World's End. Now, I'm excited to see Swerve back in AEW. It's great. But at the same time, Swerve, we don't know. Right now, we know that he's only, pretty much tied to Adam Page with Samoa Joe and the Ops. And it looks like Swerve will be teaming up with Adam Page, I believe, next week, because Adam Page made the announcement that he wants a match against the Ops next week. And looks like he's not coming alone. So most likely that's going to be Swerve Strickland teaming up with Adam Page to take on, I believe, Shibata and the Ops. So we're going to see how that plays out. But at the end of the day, bro, there's really nobody left right now on paper for this company to be number one contenders right now. And a lot of other people like Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Darby Allin. I mean, Darby Allin After the match that he had with Kevin Knight, seemingly seems as if he is injured. There was a video shown last night on Dynamite that he was in a hospital, laying in a hospital bed, and not medically cleared to compete. So I don't know what the deal is with Darby Allin. I know there's supposed to be more details and more information, regarding Darby Allin this week on this Saturday on Collision, and hopefully we get more details about Darby Allin. But again, Darby Allin being possibly on the shelf, we have other superstars right now that are still dealing with significant injury. I mean, you're talking Will Ospreay, Keith Lee. And another person that I keep forgetting that's on the shelf who would be a great contender right now, and I would love to see a match against him and Samoa Joe, and that would be none other than, Jay White. Jay White's still out dealing with injury. I would love to see Jay White come back and just take over the roster and challenge Samoa Joe for the AEW World title. We're also missing the likes of an MJF. Now, I don't know if we're going to get MJF or Samoa Joe at World's End. I believe that MJF still has the AEW contract that he's still yet to sign. So, I don't know. Copeland's out. Christian Cage is out. I don't know why Cage is out. I don't know why. I can understand Copeland being out because supposedly he was filming a TV show or something like that of that nature. But I don't know what the hell Christian Cage is doing. I don't know why Cage is not in the conversation in the main event scene right now. To be honest with you, I think they're trying to wait to see what Copeland's doing, to reunite Copeland and Christian Cage once again to go after FTR, especially after what they did to Beth Copeland. So, again, I mean, they're just lacking depth right now in contenders, and they're lacking creative. That's the biggest downfall of this company. And there's been so many people that I've talked to and other content creators that I have seen that have stressed these same grievances that I've had for weeks on in now about AEW. There needs to be story, bro. AEW for the past 2 years has been ice cold. And it's kind of funny and ironic how we're literally going into winter is coming next week, and AEW literally has been ice cold for the past 2 years. Let's just be real. There's no creative, there's no fun, there's no enjoyment coming out of the show where fans are literally enjoying AEW's product. All we're getting now is what we're going to put on the best matches. Well, bro, no offense. Those best matches and that mindset, it's going to completely digress than having a story, because we're going to constantly and continuously keep getting the same fucking matches over and over again because you refuse to build story. Prime example, we had Claudio Castagnoli and Jon Moxley in the main event last night on AEW Dynamite. I pitched this idea. I'm not necessarily saying that this idea is going to happen or work, but I would not be opposed of a falling out from Jon Moxley and the Death Riders, where you have the likes of Claudio, Wheeler Yuta, Daniel Garcia, Marina Shafir. If you want to throw Gabe Kidd into that, you can. Pretty much turn their back on Jon Moxley, and then Jon Moxley's on an island all by himself, and then Jon Moxley is going to do whatever he can to demolish something that he had helped start, which is the Death Riders. And Jon Moxley turns babyface instead of being heel. I think, is it something that should happen or well overdue? Yeah, I mean, I was one of the first people to say when Jon Moxley had lost the AEW World title to Adam Page is that Jon Moxley should have took some significant time off. Not only because everybody was tired of seeing Jon Moxley, but this was something where he could have took a couple months off, rebuild the Death Riders, reinvent himself, and then come back as a whole new Jon Moxley. Not the same Jon Moxley that we've gotten that damn near killed this company. You know what I'm saying? So it's creatively, I don't even know who's on the creative team for AEW, to be abundantly honest with y'all, but whoever the hell it is, they need to fucking go. I'm sorry. It's just, the shit's not panning out, bro. It's not working. Like I said, AEW's product, whether it's Dynamite or Collision, has been ice fucking cold. It's just, there's no enjoyment coming out of this product, and I'm trying to do my best. I mean, I even told you guys, man, at Blood and Guts, you got to take bits and pieces of certain things about pro wrestling and enjoy it. Whether it's on, on Dynamite, you just have to, because unfortunately, because the lack of story, the lack of, with people being injured right now, you got to take what you want out of it. If they're not willing to give the fans storyline and creative intrigue into the company, then you have to take these 5-star matches that Tony Khan's trying to put together, and you got to try to, take what you can get out of it. Because clearly the agenda right now is, to me, is that AEW and Tony Khan's mindset is the hell with the fans. We made our money. You know, I told you guys, as soon as he signed that new, $180 million TV rights deal, it was a wrap, bro. I mean, it literally was. I mean, if you go back to right before they signed that TV rights deal with Time Warner, AEW was red hot. Red hot. I mean, Sting's retirement tour, you had the storyline with Swerve and Page. You had these moments before this new TV rights deal that AEW was red hot. You know what I mean? Now, once they signed a TV rights deal, AEW seemingly has progressively gotten worse. To a point where I genuinely feel that Tony Khan and AEW just don't give a rat's ass. Not only about their company or their product, but they really don't give a shit about the fans or how the fans think. Honestly. You know, and one of the main things that right now that's keeping AEW somewhat afloat right now is their pay-per-views. That's it. Weekly episodic television, whether it's Dynamite or Collision, has progressively gotten worse. Ticket sales are down, attendance is down, TV ratings are fucking down. I mean, dude, the proof is in the pudding. So, I mean, my thing is when the time comes and we all figure out who is going to be the person that's going to be purchasing the rights to Warner Brothers Discovery, whether it's Comcast, Universal, or Netflix, it is going to be very telling to see what is going to happen to AEW Dynamite, to be honest, or AEW in general, for that matter. Because if I'm somebody in that type of environment and somebody that's willing to fork out millions of dollars for AEW's product, I'm looking at their all their analytics, to be honest with you, from the time before they sign their new TV rights deal until after. You kind of have to. I mean, because you're taking a significant chance on purchasing AEW right now, especially with the shit we've gotten for the past couple years. Like I said, man, it's been ice cold for AEW, damn near lifeless at this point. And logic gaps out the wazoo. I mean, one of the logic gaps that I mentioned earlier, why are we not getting Eddie Kingston versus Hook? Why are we taking Eddie Kingston, surpassing that entire storyline they could have had with Hook, just to give Eddie Kingston a title shot against Samoa Joe, where Kingston's done jack shit to grant himself a title opportunity? The reason why they're doing this is because they don't want to run it back immediately with Adam Page. And I believe I mentioned this last week about Samoa Joe, is that they could be setting up some kind of triple threat match here with Adam Page, Samoa Joe, and Swerve Strickland. To be honest with you, because I'll be very surprised if they're not going to have Samoa Joe defend the AEW World title at the last calendar pay-per-view of the year. To be honest with you. So I could totally see some kind of triple threat between Swerve, Page, and Samoa Joe. At this point, they need something. They need change. They need people to come back from injury. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what else to tell you guys, man. I mean, this company is just, it's horrible. And I'm not sitting here saying that I want to bash AEW. I mean, for what it's worth, Survivor Series was dog shit. To be honest with you, I thought the Women's War Games match was not needed. I felt like it was sloppy. It was all over the place. I genuinely believe that the Women's Blood and Guts match was a hell of a lot better than the Women's Survivor Series match. Hands down. Hands down. So it's not like I'm just shitting on AEW. There's shit with WWE that I'm not thrilled about. I mean, if you look at the narrative right now for WWE, specifically SmackDown, you know, SmackDown has this wild grass idea up their ass that they want to put SmackDown back to 3 hours starting in January. Are you fucking kidding me? Look, I mean, what can you honestly say right now on SmackDown you're actually thrilled about watching besides the U.S. Open Challenge? The MFTs and the Wyatt Six, you can miss me with that shit. I give a rat's ass about the MFTs and the Wyatt Six storyline. Honestly. I don't give a shit about it. And the thing of it is, it's like, they're not really even genuinely building up the characters in the MFTs. Like, everybody knows who Solo Sikoa is, but there's some people that don't know who the hell Tama Tonga is, Tonga Loa, Tola Tonga, JC Mateo, a.k.a. Jeff Cobb. I mean, a lot of people don't even know who these people are. So you're not building these characters. You're not letting the fans know who these people are, what they can do. You know what I mean? Their background, their story. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one really genuinely cares about what the MFTs are doing. At all. And honestly, I mean, yeah, it looks like there's going to be a storyline here between Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu once he's going to return. And that's seeming like it's going to be imminent at some point that Fatu could return. Hell, he could return this Friday on SmackDown. But at the end of the day, it's where AEW, bro, shit needs to fucking change. Like, you can't honestly believe that the shit that you're doing is honestly working. And then you hear Tony Khan literally saying that they're on the heels of WWE, bro. Are you fucking insane? Are you insane? On the heels of WWE. Now, while credit, there's a lot of things that WWE does do bad and do shitty. But being on the heels of WWE, bro, there's no fucking way. If anything, you might be on the heels of TNA. And that could abundantly change here very fucking quickly, considering the fact that TNA just found their new home going into the new year and signed that TV rights deal with AMC. And starting, I think, January 16th, we're going to be seeing TNA episodes live once again, but on AMC. Because that's their new home going into the new year of 2026 on Thursday nights. So while they're not technically competing on the same day, TNA, you might be on the heels of TNA, maybe. But don't get it twisted, bro. TNA is also getting backed by WWE. If it wasn't for WWE, they might not have got that AMC TV deal. And that relationship between TNA and WWE is going to be going on for a very long time. So, again, AEW needs to watch their ass. Because at the end of the day, that's WWE's mindset, is to put AEW and Tony Khan out of business. And the way they're going to do it is TNA. And I'm going to throw something else out there too, bro. And it again, just a conspiracy theory. I'm not saying this is going to 100% happen. But let's say, hypothetically, they lock in this new TV rights deal with AMC going into the new year, starting in January. Somebody's contract in AEW is coming up at the end of the year. And that person is none other than Chris Jericho. So let's say, hypothetically, just entertain me for a second, or entertain y'all for a second. Let's just say Chris Jericho leaves AEW, which honestly at this point he should. But let's say Jericho makes a debut or a return, or I would most likely debut because it's not, he never wrestled for TNA, but a debut with TNA, and maybe Jericho becomes the new AEW TNA World Champion, or he just shows up in TNA, and it's going to boost ratings and pop ratings severely for TNA. And it's going to be a gut punch in a small way to AEW. So there's things in motion. I mean, hell, you could see AJ Styles possibly going over to TNA, maybe winning the TNA World Championship. It's a possibility. There's a lot of fans in TNA that are still clamoring for a AJ Styles match under the TNA umbrella. I mean, that's literally the house that he helped build. So there's a lot of options right now for TNA, especially going into this new TV rights deal with AMC. So I'm just throwing it out there, man. I mean, there's something, AEW also, there was a rumor that they signed another female superstar last night. We need to sign other talent. I'm not trying to shit on the women's roster of AEW, but we need to hire some other male superstars to AEW as well to kind of help out the main event scene. I've been trying to push for Karrion Kross to come over to AEW because, not for nothing, they need somebody like Kross. Kross could change the game for AEW. Kross can come in and completely change the landscape of what AEW is doing right now. And they can set up a humongous storyline here, and I think I made comments about this last week, where you would bring in someone like Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Obviously, it's a package deal. But you bring somebody in like Karrion Kross, where, like I mentioned, the Death Riders are fed up with Jon Moxley's bullshit, and they kick out Jon Moxley. They bring in a new leader, and that leader is none other than Karrion Kross, which, by the way, he would fit like a glove in the Death Riders with the way he competes in the ring. Obviously he has an MMA background as well, and martial arts and stuff like that. A lot of the guys that are on the Death Riders have that martial arts background. You bring in someone like Karrion Kross, this new leader, this new, confidence in the Death Riders, and they kick out Jon Moxley. Now Jon Moxley's going to try to do whatever he can to take down the Death Riders, but he has to go through Karrion Kross first. And we get Moxley versus Kross, possibly at a pay-per-view match, and I'm telling you right now, if that were to happen, it would sell like sliced bread. Sliced bread. They need people like that. AEW and Tony Khan need to invest in shit like that. And I know a lot of people are like, oh man, it's just another WWE guy. Yeah. It's another WWE guy that can change the landscape of AEW. It's another WWE guy that, not for nothing, they need. They need a shakeup. They need someone to come in and shock the world as far as the AEW fan base is concerned. And what better person to do that than Karrion Kross? They need Kross. They need other talent to come into AEW, bro, because we're getting the same shit over and over again. And if we're not getting the same shit over and over again, we're getting bullshit matches slapped together because there's nobody else. Hence Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe. That's what we're getting going into next week at Winter is Coming. When Eddie Kingston hasn't done a goddamn thing to grant himself an opportunity at the AEW World title. I would have ran it up with Eddie Kingston and Hook in a match, because that could be a fucking storyline in itself, because at one time, Eddie Kingston was teaming up with Hook, and so Hook turned his back on Eddie Kingston, helped out the Ops, and helped Samoa Joe once again become AEW World Champion with Hook attacking Adam Page in that steel cage. Not overlook Hook, and then we're going to push Eddie Kingston right into an AEW title shot. Are you fucking kidding me? You know what I'm saying? Like, the logic gaps in this shit is unfucking believable, man. Honestly. Logic gaps, creative storylines, it's fucking lacking in this company. And not for nothing, bro. It's common sense. It honestly is. It's day one shit. It's common sense. Where is the fucking stories, man? Where's the stories? What creative team is over in AEW if there is one? What are you, pulling people out for fucking catering? You know what? I need you to help me write this show real quick before Tony Khan polishes off a 6-pack of White Claw. Get the fuck out of here, man. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? What are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? This is the best that we're going to get? You know, there's other things too. Like, for example, Kenny Omega. I said it from the jump. When Kenny Omega came back from diverticulitis, the guy looks like he doesn't even want to fucking be there, bro. You look at the match where he came back into Dynamite. I mean, hell, when Kenny Omega came back from diverticulitis, his first match back wasn't even in fucking AEW. It was in New Japan, where he faced off against Gabe Kidd. And you saw how excited and how thrilled and how happy he was being over in New Japan. The day he shows up and returns to AEW Dynamite, bro, he looks so fucking miserable. Like he didn't want to fucking be there. He'd rather have been anywhere else but on Dynamite. He don't want to fucking be there. He'd rather be over in Japan playing video games or at Comic-Con or wherever the hell he wants to do. He don't want to fucking be there. And now there's rumors and speculations that they're worried, Tony Khan and AEW are worried that he could be injured in longer matches. So instead of having Kenny Omega in a singles run, going after Okada, going after the national championship with Ricochet, or going after the TNT title, no. We're going to reunite Kenny Omega with the Young Bucks because AEW and the powers that be are worried that he will get injured having a longer match. So we're going to put him in a team with the Young Bucks, basically reuniting the Elite, because they are petrified that Kenny Omega is going to get injured and he's going to retire. That's what we're doing. And right now, there's really no inkling that they're really going to reunite the Elite. Just because Kenny Omega came out and saved their asses doesn't mean that he's necessarily going to join the Young Bucks and reunite the Elite. Would I be interested in seeing that? Yeah, because I've been a firm believer that the fact that if it ain't broke, don't fucking fix it. They need to go back to what brought them to the dance. There needs to be certain shit that they need to go back to. You know, when AEW first came on the scene, it was red hot. Red hot. It was some of the best wrestling and storylines I've ever seen. And then, like I said, once they signed a new TV rights deal, they said to hell with the fans. They need to go back to that. AEW in the very beginning gave you that independent vibe, but mainstream. And that's what they gave the fans. We need to go back to that. Honestly. We need to go back to what brought us to the dance. Because this shit that we've gotten in the past 2 fucking years has been none other than a dumpster fire. It's fucking horrible, man. It's awful. Because, and this is the thing too, bro. If it wasn't for Eddie Kingston, who's the next person up to challenge Samoa Joe? You're going to run it back with Adam Page again? For a third time? I mean, come on, bro. Like, I mean, seriously. Mark Briscoe wants to defend the TNT title against Daniel Garcia as well? On Collision? Why? What the fuck has Garcia done to grant himself a TNT title opportunity? Nothing. Nothing. Nothing at all. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, there's no top contenders right now, even for the AEW World title. Nothing. You're not building for the future. You're not building for the future of this company. You're just not. You're not. And I feel like Tony Khan and the powers that be don't give a shit about this company and the direction that they're going. There might not be no goddamn future for this company depending on the new TV rights deal. Or wherever the hell Warner Bros. Discovery gets sold to. If they go to Netflix, you might as well call it a day. I don't see any way in hell Netflix is going to showcase AEW shit on Netflix when they're already showing Monday Night Raw every single Monday. That's going to be very, very telling to see how that were to play out. So I'm saying, bro, it's you don't give a shit. And not for nothing, like even last night, well, we're talking about Ring of Honor, you know, Ricochet wants to defend the belt. Dude, I don't give a rat's ass about Ring of Honor. And not for nothing, when Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor, he fucking killed Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor at one time was a great wrestling company. You had talent from around the goddamn world competing in Ring of Honor. You have future Hall of Famers that wrestled for Ring of Honor at one time. Seth Rollins, Bryan Danielson, Samoa Joe, CM Punk. Just to name 4 guys just off, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. You know what I'm saying? Just to name a couple guys that wrestled for Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? The Young Bucks, the Briscoes, Adam Page, Adam Cole's Ring of Honor title run, Samoa Joe's title run. You know what I'm saying? Like, at one time, Ring of Honor was one of the best companies out there. One of them. Ever since Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor because he was a fanboy, he's killed Ring of Honor, man. You can't honestly sit here and tell me, if you were a day one Ring of Honor fan, that Ring of Honor has gotten better since Tony Khan has bought it. You've lost your goddamn mind. Ring of Honor is the drizzling shits. And in order to watch Ring of Honor, you had to watch it behind a fucking paywall. It's a joke, man. I don't give a shit about Ring of Honor. Hell, at this point, I think NWA right now is better than Ring of Honor. The company that Billy Corgan's running. Than what they're doing over there in Ring. I give a shit less about what Ring of Honor's doing. It's a joke. I mean, hell, bro. Not even that. Look at last night. This was probably the first time, and I don't even know how goddamn long it's been since we saw the goddamn Dark Order on fucking Dynamite last night. How long has it been? I think the last time we've seen the likes of Evil Uno, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds on Dynamite is when they were getting their ass kicked by the goddamn Death Riders. And that's when the Death Riders were becoming a thing. So it's been a minute. Until last night that we saw Evil Uno, Alex Silver, and all the Dark Order guys. John Silver and Alex Reynolds. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know these guys were still fucking employed with a goddamn company. Like, where have they been? I'll tell you where. Ring of Honor. A company that nobody gives a shit about, bro. Nobody fucking cares about Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? Like, bro, if the roster's too bloated, then it's time to release some talent. Not for nothing. Where's Keith Lee, bro? I don't know what the hell happened to Keith Lee or what the hell's going on. Dude, he's been out for so long. It's been almost almost 3 years, it feels like, since he's been out with injury. What the hell's going on with Keith Lee? Wardlow comes back after being off AEW television for, what, a year and a half? He comes back and then tears his rotator cuff and he's out for another 6 to 8 months. Like, dude, you gotta have a plan B that's logical, man. Not Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe. Winter is coming, bro. Like, come on. Like, bro, do you honestly, as a fan, like, just fan to fan here, do you remember when Sting made his AEW debut at Winter is Coming? And how cool that shit was, bro? Do you remember that shit? You know what I mean? It got everybody so fucking excited. Hell, I was excited. Like, why can't we go back to those goddamn moments in AEW? Give the fans something, bro. God damn. Stop being so goddamn stingy and selfish. Give us something to hold on to. Pause. But, I mean, give us something that we can get entertained about, man. Something. Like, you can't sit here and tell me that the shit that you're giving us week in and week out is entertaining and something for the fans to gravitate towards and get excited for every single goddamn week. And then The shit that you guys are putting out on your weekly episodic television, you still have the audacity to put out this bullshit week in and week out and then still expect us fans to pay $40 to $50 for your fucking pay-per-views. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we fucking doing here? And the reason why you think that is because Tony Khan's fucking delusional. He thinks what he's doing is working. He's got yes men kissing his ass saying, hey, what you're doing, man, it's working, it's working. Whoever's telling him that what he's doing right now is working ought to have his ass whooped. Honestly. Ought to have his ass whooped. Because you're just as bad as him. I mean, you can't sit here and tell me this shit's working. Like, what the fuck is the matter with you? Seriously. And you're on the heels of WWE? Get the fuck out of here, bro. You're barely on the heels of TNA. Because I'm going to tell you right now, man, TNA is going to come out guns a-blazing when they show up their day one on AMC. Red hot. You think they're fucking around, bro? No. They're not messing around. They're coming on AMC and having their debut episode on TNA on AMC, and they're coming out the gate strong, bro. Because WWE want AEW gone. They want Tony Khan out of the wrestling business. And who knows, that might end up happening. Well, you know what? AEW might be done, but he'll still be in the wrestling business, running Ring of Honor. Hoping that, Ring of Honor can get a TV rights deal. Good fucking luck. Good luck. And the shitty part about it is, bro, is that AEW's got the goddamn talent. You got the talent. We just want story. Can you give us a little bit of story for us to sink our teeth into and actually get invested in this goddamn product? That's all we're fucking asking for, man. It's like trying to get blood from a fucking stone. At this point, it's fucking ridiculous. And week after week after week for the past 2 fucking years, it's been the same dog shit product that we've gotten for the past 2 fucking years. And some people could say, you know what, bro, maybe AEW is not for you. Maybe you shouldn't watch the product. That ain't gonna happen. This is what I do. But I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat shit and say, oh, AEW is so good when it's not. I'm as real as they come, bro. If it's good, I'm gonna tell you it's good. If it's shit, I'm gonna tell you the shit is dog shit. I'm crucial on AEW, but I'm also crucial on WWE. Hell, I was even crucial when I was covering NWA Power back in the day. If you guys have been with me for this long, I used to cover NWA's product. And told you how bad that shit was in the beginning. So don't sit here and tell me, oh, well, he's only hard on crucial on AEW. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. But I'm not going to sit here and bullshit people and say, oh, AEW's product's so good, everything's so great over in AEW. Bullshit. How can you sit here and tell me it's so great, bro, when they're barely selling out arenas? And not even fucking arenas. They're not even selling out theaters. I made this comment so many times where they went from having a pay-per-view to going to South Philly at the old ECW arena where they can barely even sell 1,000 tickets. But they'll sell 23,000 tickets for a pay-per-view. Come on, bro. You don't see the irony in that? You don't see there being a problem in that? Come on, man. Come on. And yeah, there's people out there that do this content creator shit that kiss AEW's ass. I'm not one of them. I'm not going to sit here and rub shoulders with these people. I said the same shit over and over again. I'm not. I'm genuine. I'm real. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. But when you're here, you're going to get my honest opinion about the product. And if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. But you can't sit here and tell me that AEW is above WWE or leagues ahead of WWE, brother. Not a fucking chance. On the heels of WWE, you're barely even on the heels of TNA, bro. Barely. Barely. We need story. We need creative is what they need. I can't stress that enough. I've said it before. They need storylines and creative like people need oxygen. And if they do have that, this is a whole different fucking ball game for AEW. People can get invested. I mean, we're also talking about a company at one time that probably had, if not the best goddamn tag team division in all of pro wrestling. Can you sit here and honestly say as an AEW fan it's the same then that it is now? Ain't no goddamn way. Come on, bro. The Lucha Bros, Penta and Phoenix, Santana Ortiz. Come on, man. Come on. Ain't no fucking way, bro. The Hardys. Hell, where's Isaiah Quinn and Mark Private Party? Where's those guys? Ever since they lost to the Hurt Syndicate, they've been on the goddamn shelf. Where's Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy? Where are those guys at? We're still waiting for one of the members of the Gun Club to come back. He's still out with injury. I believe it's Colton Gunn. He's out as well. At one part, this was probably one of the best tag teams in all of wrestling. Not anymore. It's the same thing with the trios division. Is there really a trios that's out there? No. There's not. You're trying to put bullshit teams together to challenge the Ops for the trios titles. Hell, at this point, I'd rather take the Hurt Syndicate being the trios champions, or hell, reunite the Acclaimed with Anthony Bowens and Max Caster and bring back Billy Gunn. Why the hell not? You need change, bro. You need excitement around this shit. We're not getting it. We're not. And that's half the problem with this fucking company. There's no excitement with this shit. Nobody cares. Tony Khan don't care, and because he don't care, the show fucking suffers. So like I said, even though we're going into next week where it's winter is coming, AEW has been ice cold, bro, for the past 2 goddamn years. There needs to be change, bro. We need storyline in AEW, and if we don't get it, I don't know how long AEW really genuinely is going to last, especially with them possibly being sold to Comcast or Netflix or Paramount Plus. There might not be a future for AEW if the shit keeps going the way it's going, bro. And I don't want that for AEW. I want AEW to be around for a very long time. But the way shit's going now, AEW could possibly be going out of business, bro, with what's been going on as of late. So, I don't know, bro. Like I said, man, they need story. They need creative. They need writers. They need storyline and something that for the fans to actually sink their teeth into to actually get invested once again in AEW's product. Because if not, it's a sinking ship for AEW, bro, to be honest with you. But with that being said, this is my review of AEW's Dynamite. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful and remember, stay classic. Peace.